Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from Zerg Reno Sports here, and today we are doing a WrestleMania 39, I believe, is this year's WrestleMania. WrestleMania goes Hollywood, baby. The WrestleMania that Dwayne's bald bitch ass ruined. But yeah, so we're doing predictions. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I have barely been watching the product for the last 2 years. I keep up through YouTube and like Twitter and shit. So I like roughly know what's going on, but I'm not watching every week. I'm not watching every promo. More or less, besides Bloodline stuff, the Bloodline stuff I try and always make time to kind of, watch. WWE themselves on their website and maybe on programming. Again, I don't watch it, so I don't know. And that's not me like trying to hate and be like, oh, fuck the product. It's just like I work evenings, so I can't watch wrestling. So you know what I mean? Because wrestling's in the evening. So yeah, and I'm not gonna take time out of my days off or like my mornings or whatever to fucking watch a replay or whatever, because yeah, I'm just not gonna do that. So highlights on YouTube is the best I can do at the moment. But anyways, WWE themselves have put the night 1 and night 2 matches on their website. They haven't put the match order, obviously, other than the fact that we know what's opening night 1, and we know, obviously, what's closing night 2. I'm going to assume what's closing night 2. Maybe they've already announced it. Again, I don't know. Also, I'm a little bit sick if my voice sounds weird, but hopefully that doesn't cause too many issues. Just got to make sure that I'm recording. I am. Okay, perfect. Now, usually my predictions videos end up being pretty long because I have a lot to say because I've been watching the product. Hopefully this isn't as long because I'm not watching the product as much, so I won't have as much to say. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But night 1 is being started off with Austin Theory versus John Cena. This one, honestly, I feel like is a little bit of a tricky one to predict because with the fact that it's opening, do you go with the feel-good babyface win to pop the crowd to start the show with Cena and then just have him do an open challenge the next night and lose it immediately to either Theory again or somebody else? You could do that, or you could have Theory get that big win at WrestleMania, for the U.S. title like John Cena got way back at WrestleMania 20. Shout out WrestleMania 20, my favorite Mania. You know what I mean? So Austin Theory has always said that Cena was his dream match and like Cena was his idol and shit like that. So in terms of a prediction, again, I feel like this one could go either way because like I said, you give Theory the big win at Mania, or you pop the crowd early with a babyface win for Cena, and then he can just show up the next night or 2 nights later on Raw. Open challenge, boom, out of here. Apparently Jay White might be signing with WWE, so that'd be a good way to just pop him into the U.S. title picture. He debuts and beats Cena, maybe. I don't know if that's the plan. I don't know if that's plausible. I don't really know his contract status. So, yeah. But in terms of who I will actually predict, fuck, you know what? This is a hard one to start with. I also didn't look at the matches beforehand, so this is all like me thinking about it right now. So maybe this will be a longer video. I don't know, man. Fuck. I will go. Oh man. Again, this is a tough one, honestly. At least Cena showed up, At least Cena showed up. Unlike that bald fucker in Hollywood. Piece of shit, dude. I don't want to say too much, but come on, man. This was the perfect man. We'll get to it. Yeah, so I'll do Cena. I will do Cena to win, pop the crowd, and then I imagine he'll do an open challenge on Raw and then lose it either again to Theory or until like maybe a debuting Jay White or, maybe push Gable. That'd be cool. I don't think there's any plans or rumors about that. I really love Chad Gable. But yeah, so I'll go with Cena, but again, this one I feel like is just a 50-50, just shot in the dark. So because there's arguments for either side. Now, on WrestleMania Saturday, this could end up being the main event. I hope it's not, but I'm going to say what I think will be the main event later when we get to the main event of night one. But the next match that I'm predicting is Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It has to be Rhea Ripley. If you have Rhea Ripley lose now, she loses all credibility for the future. I'm sorry. You can't have her lose again. You cannot have her lose to Charlotte again. She should have won at WrestleMania 30. 6, right? Was 36 the first Pandemic Mania? What year are we in? 23 is 39, so 22 was 38, so 21 was 37, so 2020 was 36. Yeah, there you go. So at 36 in the fucking PC, she should not have lost to Charlotte. She should have won. And it took her a long time to recover from that. If they do it again, she's fucking dead in the water. I'm sorry. She's so talented, so maybe like after a few years she could get up to that level again, but all credibility is lost with Rhea Ripley if she loses again. She has to win. She's the obvious choice. She's the correct choice. Please do not fuck this up, Triple H. If it was Vince, I would be worried. With Triple H, I'm not so worried. So I think Rhea Ripley winning is the right call. I think it will be a great match because, like, I shit on Charlotte all the time on this channel, and it's all because of overexposure, because I don't really like her as a babyface promo, I'll say that. I think she's kind of shit as a babyface promo, but as a heel promo, elite. In the ring, it's her or Asuka for the best in-ring competitor in the WWE from the women's division. You know what I mean? At least in my opinion. Because in the ring, she's so fucking good. She's a natural at it. She, as a heel, promo, she's great. It's just the overexposure is what fucking kills her for me. Like, I've had so much of Charlotte that if she wanted to take like 2 years off, it would not bother me at all. You know what I mean? And that's in spite of the fact that her matches are always fucking good. They're always great matches. But if you have a 10 out of 10 match, or let's use Meltzer's, if you have like a 4.5 star match every time you go out there to wrestle, but everybody fucking shits on the match all the time, maybe it's because the booking's shit. And maybe it's because you're being overexposed. Maybe that's why, you know what I mean? And that's not her fault, obviously. But, yeah, because, like, this match will be fucking great. The first match was really good from what I remember that they had at Mania 36. And this match will probably be even better. Because, I mean, Rhea Ripley is only going to get better the more she does it because, like, she's fucking young as shit, right? So imagine an extra 3 years on top of the experience she already had at that Mania. She's in this new role. She's really killing it in this new role. Not new role per se, but, like, the Judgment Day gimmick and all that shit. Like, she's been killing it in the Judgment Day from my limited exposure that I've seen. And then, obviously, like I said, Charlotte is exceptional in the ring. So the match will be great. The right call is Rhea Ripley. I think they'll go Rhea Ripley, so I'm going to say Rhea Ripley is going to win. So there you go. The next match we're going to talk about, sticking with the women, we got Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus versus Damage Control. Throwback to SummerSlam when Damage Control kind of debuted and everybody was like, oh shit, and then they've pretty much been jobbers to the stars ever since. I mean, they've had tag team title runs, which, I mean, they lost to Becky and Lita, right? I think they did that on Raw a few weeks ago. I think that was supposed to happen before Elimination Chamber or something, but something went long, and then they had to, like, postpone the cage match or some shit, and then that postponed. Because from what I read, Trish was supposed to debut in Ottawa. Or return, sorry, not debut. Apparently, Trish was supposed to return when they were in Ottawa or something after Elimination Chamber, but she couldn't because they had to postpone the build a week because something went long or something like that. The trial of Sami Zayn, I think, is what went long, and then they had to cut the cage match and postpone it or something. I don't know if that's true. I don't remember where I read it. Usually if I don't read something by Sean Ross Sapp, I don't really try and remember it, but if he reports something, I'll try and remember it, because I feel like he's probably the most accurate journalist in wrestling, or reporter, or whatever you want to classify it as. I don't actually genuinely know. But he more often than not is very accurate with his information because he does a lot of due diligence and puts in the work to ensure that the information he's getting is accurate. I mean, nobody's ever going to have a 100% hit rate, but, you know. Yeah, so if I'm remembering it, it was probably from him, so there was probably truth to it. But again, I don't know. But yeah, so I feel like it has to be Damage Control, right? Because it's kind of like a Rhea Ripley situation, not in the sense that like they've been really strong up until now and then they would kill them. They've been weaker than they probably should have been this whole time. So you kind of need them to have that big match. But then again, I mean, it's Trish, it's Lita, and it's Becky. Who's taking the pin there, right? Lita, I guess. Apparently they want to do Trish and Becky for SummerSlam. So, I mean, Damage Control winning and it being either Becky or Trish's fault or something. And then it causes the turn or whatever. Or, Damage Control could win tonight and then they could be like, oh, you know what? Well, in Puerto Rico at Backlash, let's have those titles back. Let's do it. And then, you know what? That might actually work because Puerto Rico is where New Year's Revolution New Year's Revolution 2005, the first one that they ran ever, that had the Elimination Chamber with Batista and Triple H and all that. That is the New Year's Revolution in Puerto Rico, where Lita busted her knee against Trish when they were building up to her and Trish at WrestleMania 21. So maybe they have some sort of turn where Trish attacks Lita and Becky in Puerto Rico. Maybe just like as a, hey man, last time we were in Hollywood, blah, 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 blah. Granted, they're already going to go to Hollywood for this Mania and then the time will pass. But I don't know. I just feel like because they've had a Trish and Lita thing in Puerto Rico before, I feel like that might be a good place for them to turn. For them to have Trish turn and then set up the build to SummerSlam with Becky or something like that. So I'll go with Damage Control for the win. But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just give the babyfaces a big win and then Damage Control are even more dead in the water than they kind of already are. But, again, I'm not watching every week, so I don't know if they're being kept strong in defeat or if they just look stupid. I really don't know. On to the next match, man. Logan Paul versus Seth freaking Rollins. It's gotta be Seth. It has to be Seth, unless they have Jay White get involved in this to the only way Logan wins this match on night one is if he fucking has half the roster come out to help him. And that's not anything against him because he's picking shit up so quick and he's so good for the limited experience he has, but it's Seth freaking Rollins, right? And if you guys have been on the channel for a while, you'll know that I'm not the biggest fan of Seth. Like, I'm not out here thinking Seth should have, year-long title reigns and should always be in the main event shit, but he's an incredible fucking wrestler. He can be a very good promo. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. That's a guaranteed statement. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like, he is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Again, he loses all credibility if he loses to Logan Paul. Clean, at least. Again, if you want to bring in somebody like a Jay White, again, I don't know his contract situation. I've just read that, he might be going there. Apparently Kenny Omega might go to WWE, but again, I don't know his contract status. I'm assuming it's not up now because that would be much bigger news, right? But it has to be Seth, right? It has to be. So we'll go with Seth. And then again on Saturday, maybe the most well-built match on the card besides the tag match that we'll get to in a little bit. Ray versus Dominic, 1-on-1. If Ray was retiring, I would say Dominic wins. But with Ray, I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame, so what if he loses and he's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm done. That shows me that I need to be done, kind of thing. So, I don't know. I feel like Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this would have been a really good match for next Mania because I think I read something or I heard something about Ray being done at the next Mania or like around then. So I mean, if they could have held off on this match for another year, that would have been great. But at the same time, Dominic has gotten so much heat in the in Judgment Day. Like in retrospect, it was probably the right call. At the time, I wouldn't have made that decision. Obviously, like I just said, I would have waited a year for this match. But I mean, Dominic has heat. These segments, these videos on YouTube get so many views. On the social medias, they get so many views. Them fucking Dominic ruining all the holidays for Ray is fucking incredible shit. Prison Hard Dom is incredible shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah. In terms of my actual prediction, I'll say Ray just because I don't think he's going to retire. And then maybe they find a way to run it back the next year, and then Dominic beats him next year when he is ready to retire. But then again, for all I know, maybe Ray's like, okay, I'm in the Hall of Fame. You know what? Maybe now's a good time to retire, and then he calls it a day. But I feel like Ray's got a little bit more left in him. You know what I mean? So I feel like Ray would announce his retirement ahead of time too. You know what I mean? Because then you could have like a retirement like farewell tour where you could just have dream matches that he never got a chance to have for some reason. You know what I mean? So I'll go with Ray winning. Or yeah, you know what? Maybe Dominic wins by cheating or something, and then they run it back at Backlash, and then Ray wins in Puerto Rico. Maybe. I mean, like Puerto Rico's not Mexico, obviously, but you know, maybe they'll pop really hard for Ray winning. I don't know. Um, you know what? I'll stick with Ray winning. Um, yeah, I'll stick with Ray winning because I think we've got a lot of heel victories so far. Um, so yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, so Ray wins. Next up, we have a WrestleMania showcase match: Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders, Street Profits, and then Braun and Ricochet. Honestly, for this one, I don't think it's a number one contenders thing. I think it's literally just a showcase just to get these guys on the card, get them that payday. Which, I mean, fair enough, but I think it would have been better if you did put some stakes like a number one contenders match on there. In terms of who I think is gonna win, who's gonna be the champs is obvious. To me. So you kind of need a heel team, and the only real heel team is the Raiders, I think. But I don't think they have enough fanfare to really get that Mania win. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say Alpha Academy is going to win. I think they've been doing this thing where Maximum Male Models are trying to entice Otis, right? I feel like maybe they'll try to entice him, and then he'll be like, you know what? Nah, fuck you. And then they'll get the big babyface pop for him staying with Gable, and then maybe they win, and then maybe they just, yeah. I'll go with Alpha Academy, mainly because I'm biased and I just love Alpha Academy. But, yeah, so we'll go Alpha Academy there. I'm wondering if I should change my prediction for Ray and Dominic, man. No, I'll go with Ray. Because then, honestly, if Ray wins, they could tell this story next year at Mania, if Ray is going to retire next year at Mania, and then they could be like, hey, listen, you had a chance last year and you didn't use it, but they could have this whole year-long build where they start having Dom actually win matches credibly on his own. You know what I mean? So that could be good. And then in the main event of the night one, we have the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have to win. For me, this should be the main event of night one. It's the best built storyline. It has to be. It has to be the main event for night one. It has to be. Like, I understand. I read somewhere that, like, a political reason that they want Charlotte and Rhea Ripley to main event is because last year they didn't have a female main event. But I feel like you just saying, here's a main event because you're females kind of devalues it personally, because then it's just a token main event. You know what I mean? I feel like if it's one of the best built matches or one of the most exciting matches or whatever, then it should be the main event. This obviously counts because it is the best built match. And then the main event for night two is the most intriguing match because it has the biggest star in the industry, and then Dusty's son. But yeah, so yeah. I think this will main event night one. I think it should main event night one. Maybe they've already announced it. Again, like I haven't gotten a chance to watch the product. So if they did announce either Charlotte and Rhea or this one, then apologies, but I don't know if they have, so I'm saying that they should with this one. And then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn winning, I think, is the right call. Send the crowd home super happy. Give Sami Zayn his big Mania main event win that he has deserved, as well as Kevin Owens. I mean, Kevin Owens main evented night one last year with Stone Cold. But I mean, Kevin Owens should have main evented 30. Which one was it? 33 with Jericho? Was that 33 or was that 34? I can't remember. Whichever one it was that he was facing Jericho, he should have won. I think it was 33. Right? 33 and 34 I mix up a lot. 34 was the one with the roller coaster, and 33 was the one in New Orleans, right? But, yeah, because 33 was Shinsuke and AJ, right? I'm getting so mixed up in my manias. Whichever one that Jericho and Kevin Owens opened the show for the U.S. title, they should have main evented for the Universal title that year. That's the one I'm talking about. So Kevin Owens should have had his Mania main event, like, full stop. Because this might be a little bit controversial. For me, personally, I still view there being one main event for Mania, and it is the main event of night two. Because if it's a two-parter, whatever finishes the second part is the finish. Because it's one entity split into two parts for digestion. You know, easy viewing digestion. But it's still the same thing. So realistic for me, I don't know. It's kind of interesting for me because, like, I don't view a night one main event as the main event. It's a main event in the same way that they tried to advertise, oh, we have 3 main events at WrestleMania. We get the WWE title. We got the streak. We got this and that. Whatever went on last was the main event, right? So for me personally, again, I view whatever goes on last at night two to be the main event of the Mania weekend. You know what I mean? But it's still a main event because it is technically still an independent show because you have to buy tickets to both shows. I don't know. It's a weird logistical thing for me, but it is a main event, I guess. Sami deserves it. Kevin Owens deserves it. The Usos deserve it. The whole Bloodline shit has been so fucking good. One of the best storylines ever in wrestling. And a great culmination. Send the fans home happy for night one. Sami and KO get their big moment. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are winning the tag team titles, basically. That's what I'm saying. And then we go on to night two. I don't know what's going to open the show. I feel like maybe like a babyface win might open the show, but I don't really know. There are significantly fewer matches on night two, but it's because one of them is a Hell in a Cell. But just the order that the tabs opened on the website is the way I'm going to do them. So this isn't me thinking, oh, okay, this is going to open and then blah, blah, blah. Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. I think Asuka is in the same spot that Rhea Ripley is in. She loses all credibility if she doesn't win. Especially with the repackaging, especially with the Kana, like Dark Asuka repackaging. If she does not win this women's championship, she is done. If Bianca Belair wins she is entering Super Cena slash fucking fuck off, go fuck yourself Roman, babyface Roman territory, where I think people are going to start to turn on her. So I really think Asuka is the right call. She has to. It has to be Asuka. And that's not me saying I don't like, Bianca Belair, because I really like Bianca Belair. She's incredibly talented. But if you watch her matches, it's a lot of Super Cena-esque stuff where it's, okay, I overcome the odds, boom, I'm that bitch, I'm that dog, I'm the top of the fucking food chain, I'm just gonna, I win, lol, from what I've seen. So I think you are getting dangerously close to the fans turning on Bianca, which maybe is what they want, because maybe they want that fan change and then they can turn her heel, if that's what they want. But I don't know if that is what they want. I think she sells a lot of merch, and I think she has a really positive message, so maybe she's better as a face, at least for the time being. But again, yeah, I think they're getting dangerously close to that Super Cena fuck off, we're going to start turning on her. And again, if Asuka does not win, Asuka's dead in the water in terms of a main event talent. I really think that. So I think Asuka needs to win, and I think she's the right call, and I think that is the direction they're going to go. I think Asuka will win. Next up, we got, I'm excited for this one, baby. Drew McIntyre, Gunther, Sheamus, Intercontinental Championship, triple threat matchup. This one's kind of interesting. I don't think Drew's winning. I think Drew is pretty much out of the picture for this match, which, I mean, is a little bit unfortunate because I really like Drew. But he was done dirty, man. He won the big one and was pushed as the big guy, like the top guy, when there were no fans in attendance. And he was also just really corny. He was a corny babyface when he was the main champion in that pandemic era, in the Thunderdome era. So I feel like a lot of fans just kind of like lost interest in him because of just a perfect storm of shitty circumstances. I think a Drew heel turn is needed. I think Drew's a really, really good heel, and I think relatively soon is the right time. And by relatively soon, I mean basically right away, because there's two ways you could go about this. There's having Gunther retain, and then maybe he can reach a year with that Intercontinental Championship, continue to build the prestige of it, bada boom, bada bing, and then Drew and Sheamus can do something on SmackDown to turn or whatever. Or what you could do is say, okay, well, Gunther's ready for the main event if we want him there, so we'll start elevating him towards that. Sheamus is missing an Intercontinental Championship to be a Grand Slam, I believe. He's super over as a face right now. So if you have Sheamus pin Drew for the Intercontinental Championship, you get that big babyface pop, especially if they start the show with this. Starting the show with this is dangerous, though, because nothing's probably going to top it. But yeah, so if you have Sheamus pin Drew, right? Boom, big babyface pop, whatever. Drew can congratulate him otherwise, and then Claymore, while he's celebrating, heel turn at Mania, and then that sets up Drew versus Sheamus in a heel program that sets up a chance to make Drew dominant again in that heel role. You give Sheamus his big moment, and then Gunther can go up into the main event, or you could move him over to Raw, and then he could maybe answer John Cena's open challenge on Monday and fucking kill Cena, and then you've got a new U.S. champion. You know what I mean? Something like that. You could do that. Please change the design of the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title. They are kind of gross. Just a side thing. And change all the fucking titles, man. Pretty much. Just change all of them. Most of them are shit. Like, you know what I mean? Just fucking get rid of them. Just go back to the drawing board. Me personally, I would like to see Gunther reach a year with the title. However, I do think that now would be the perfect scenario for Sheamus to win. And then, Drew could turn night of, because it's kind of interesting. The only thing, what you could do instead, though, is maybe like Drew Claymore's Gunther and he has the win and Sheamus breaks it up and, maybe bro kicks Drew or something, and then he turns around and Gunther just kills him and retains. And then on SmackDown the next week, then you could have Drew turn on him for that because he had the match won kind of thing, and Sheamus ruined it because he was selfish or whatever, which isn't really being selfish. It's a 3-man, it's every man for himself, but, heels sometimes are misconstrued in their beliefs, right? So it would work. But yeah, I don't know. Selfishly, I really want Gunther to reach a year, because that title was dead for years, and Gunther has been restoring it to its prestige. Obviously, Triple H is booking the shit, but, Gunther has been the figurehead of that. He lasted... He broke the Rumble record, which R.I.P. Ray's record. Bryan's doesn't count. He broke Ray's Mania record for lasting in a match. In the Rumble match, sorry. As Intercontinental Champion, he was the last eliminated, only second to Cody Rhodes. So, it shows the casual viewer, okay, this guy's the real deal, right? So, and it builds up that title. So, and it builds him up, and it establishes him as, okay, he's in the mid-card right now, but once he's ready, it's just a pretty much almost nearly a lateral transition to the main event, basically. Maybe just one step up instead of a million. But yeah, so... we are going to go ahead, or I'm going to go ahead and predict. I'll go ahead and predict that Sheamus will win. Drew will turn on Sheamus after the match, and then maybe Gunther shows up on Monday for Cena's Open Challenge. I'll say that. I did predict Cena, right? If I didn't, change it to Cena. I think I predicted Cena, though. Because Theory will be able to bounce back. And then if they do have Theory just beat him to start the show... fine, right? It's good. Theory's got a huge future. He's really talented, and that'll be a big feather in his cap. But yeah, I'll go with Sheamus pinning Drew, keeping Gunther strong. Maybe Gunther hits Drew with something, and then Sheamus bro kicks Gunther, really typical, and then pins Drew or whatever, and then something like that. But yeah, that's what we'll go with. Next up, we have Hell in a Cell, Edge versus Demon Finn Balor. I believe it is 100% confirmed that the Demon will be showing up. Edge does not need it. Finn does need it. Finn is going to win this match. End of story. End of story. Watch Edge win it. Again, you've got so many matches set up tonight where if the one guy or girl loses, that's a lot of credibility lost. You know what I mean? So I feel like Finn will win. I feel like Hell in a Cell lends itself to maybe a new addition to the Judgment Day. Maybe Karrion Kross isn't doing much. Maybe add him in there. Who else looks dark? I don't know. A Priest isn't doing much, so Priest could get involved. But I feel like a clean win for Finn Balor at WrestleMania would solidify him as a potential contender. Now, there have been reports that a certain somebody that we'll get to in a second is going to take a long break after Mania. And if he does, you do need guys to fill that spot. If Finn wins this match clean, boom, he elevates right up there. Gunther as well. If he loses the title but is kept strong, maybe he doesn't even answer Cena's Open Challenge if it is a thing. Maybe he goes right into challenging for a certain title. You know what I mean? So I do think they will need heels. You know what I mean? But yeah, so there you go. I will predict Finn Balor to win this Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania. Apparently it's going to be the old gray, I burped, the old gray cell. Hell yeah, bring that back. Fuck the red one. That one was an eyesore. Next up, baby, Brock Lesnar versus Omos. All my Homo sapiens out there, I'm so sorry. He needs to lose in 5 seconds and then get them off the fucking screen. That's all I'm going to say. Brock lost last year. He's going to win this year. It better be a squash. Fuck Omos. Done. That's all I'm going to say for that. All right. WrestleMania Showcase Women's Edition. Liv and Raquel versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville versus Ronda and Shayna Baszler, and then Natty and Shotzi. Again, if this was for a shot at the titles, that would be, who are the champions? Oh, Lita and Becky, right? If this was if this was for a shot at the titles, that'd be more worth something. Again, this one again is a match that I'm not really going to say too much about. Sonya and Chelsea as like Karens. Love it. Liv Morgan, please ruin my life. Raquel, this might be a little bit controversial, but she's kind of mid for me. Just like I think it's nice to have a larger, like taller, more muscular competitor in the women's division for diversity of opponents, because then you can have that David Goliath, Danielle Giselle. That's a D and a G name. I was trying to find a female equivalent, but I don't think there is. That David and Goliath dynamic you can have with Raquel being on the taller side and being jacked. As the total package as a wrestler, she doesn't really do too much for me. I'll be completely honest. She's kind of mid for me. She's not shit or nothing, but she's not overly great or overly impressive to me as a viewer, for what I like from wrestling. So that's not to say that for the next person, maybe she's the shit and they want her to be the person to beat Bianca or Asuka or Charlotte or Rhea, whoever ends up with the titles after Mania. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I think about Natty if you've been on the channel. Incredible wrestler. Do not give a singular fucking shit. It's just... Yeah. And it hurts to say that because it's so mean for me to say that. But she's been there so long and she's just done the same shit over and over again. And when she has switched it up, it's been something that's just... It doesn't work. Yeah. Shotzi's fine. Tank entrance at Mania is going to be fun. Like I said, Karens were good. And then the winners of the match are going to be Ronda Rousey and Shayna. I really like it if Shayna was the one to get the pin or the submission, I guess. But it will be Ronda unless it's a double submission and they both submit. But yeah, Ronda and Shayna I think is an obvious option. Yeah, so that's that. And then the main event of the evening. The Tribal Chief. The head of the table. The undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns defends his championship against the son of a plumber. The guy with maybe the worst tattoo in the wrestling industry. The guy who's very, very good, but he won't be good enough Sunday night. Roman Reigns is retaining the championship. Now, hear me out. 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 Okay. Hear me out. Here's what we do, right? Roman cannot lose a match to start everything crumbling. In my opinion, it should be the other way around with the way that they've built it. Now, the Usos losing the titles is going to cause some dissension. He's going to be like, oh, well, you guys failed, and then look at me. I won. Nobody thought I won. And then maybe that could lead into him taking his break. You know, he could be like, you know what? I can't stand to see you two. I can't fix it, and I won't be back until you do, or something, if he is taking that long time off, right? And then you can have him fuck off with the titles, unfortunately. But, you know, if he is taking that long time off, that could be his reason for and then when he eventually does come back, you know, maybe it's not fixed. Maybe the Usos abandon him and then he's all alone. And then that's when you have Cody win the titles off of him. And the reason I say this is because Cody Rhodes is the son of Dusty Rhodes, right? And people say that as a joke, but Dusty Rhodes was very influential in WCW. I'm not going to pretend like I know the specifics, and I'm not going to list every pay-per-view that Dusty came up with and every show that Dusty came up with and all that shit. But I know for a fact that there were a lot of Dusty pay-per-views that he came up with. So, I don't know if Starrcade is one of them. I don't know what the other ones are. But if Cody Rhodes loses at Mania, which he should because Roman needs to hit 1,000 days and then they can take the title off him. If when Cody Rhodes loses at Mania, it could send him on a spiral. And he'll get more aggressive and he won't turn heel. but he'll get more aggressive. He won't be as nice. He'll start, maybe screwing people over if he has to. He'll get desperate. He'll win Money in the Bank. And when he wins Money in the Bank, the stipulation of Money in the Bank is anytime, any place, right? So he'll say, listen, the time is this month or whatever. The place is this stadium. The event is Starrcade or something like that. Or just any WCW pay-per-view that Dusty had a hand in creating, and then he could win the biggest prize in the WWE in one of the shows his dad created. Roman can get to his 1,000 days. The bloodline will have time to fall out and break apart. And then after that, honestly, here's the thing though. I really want them to split the titles. So if it could just be for the WWE title that Cody could win, and then Jay can win that Universal title off Roman to fully bookend the bloodline, because it started with Jay. It should end with Jay. Dwayne should have been involved this year, but he's a bald bitch. And he's making shitty Hollywood movies, making tons of money. So, like, on the one hand, respect. On the other hand, you did more to put over Gregory Helms in 2003 than you are for your own cousin when he is the top of the industry. Go fuck yourself. As a fan. As a person, massive respect. As a wrestling fan, go shine up that bald head of yours and stick it up your own candy ass, you jabron. Anyways. All right. Anyways. So, yeah. I think I mean, it's very possible that Cody's just gonna win, and it's gonna be whatever, and then Roman's gonna go away for a little bit, and then they'll probably have Finn challenge Cody, and then they'll have Gunther challenge Cody, and then whoever else they want to build up. But and Austin Theory maybe, but I think the better call is Saul. The better call is Roman Reigns retains. You could have it by nefarious means, but I don't think it needs to be. I think it would serve the story better if Cody just legitimately wasn't good enough. Because then Cody could sit back and he could cut a promo down the line and be like, you know what? I put it in my head, finish the story. I thought the story would finish itself for me. And I didn't put in the work necessary to actually do it. But now that I know what it'll take, I've put in that work, and you're not leaving with that title again. Or some shit like that. Down the line, after he wins Money in the Bank, and then, make Starrcade and blah, blah, blah. So, or another WCW pay-per-view. I'm just using Starrcade because it's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't know if Dusty had a hand in creating it or not. So, there you go. Yeah, so... Yeah, so I will go ahead and predict Roman. I will not be surprised if it's Cody. I'm going to predict Roman. I think that's the better long-term choice. We'll see a different side of Cody, again, being desperate, spiraling until, he gets that Money in the Bank and then blah, blah, blah. So there you go. Yeah, let's see how long that ended up being. Okay, nope. It was a long one. Yep, I said hopefully it'll be short because I'm not watching the product, but I ran my mouth and now we're at 40-some minutes. So that is it for my WrestleMania 39 WrestleMania Goes Hollywood predictions. I guess I'll predict the Andre really quickly. It's probably going to be Lashley. Lashley and Bray were obviously scheduled to have the fight, but I guess Bray has some health issues that he's dealing with that he are preventing him from being at Mania, which really sucks for him, which really sucks for Lashley, because I think Lashley deserves to be on the Mania card. They should have scrapped Omos and Brock and just put Brock and Lashley again in like a 3 Stages of Hell or a Last Man Standing or some shit where they could just beat the fuck out of each other, and then Lashley can win clean at the end of the day. 3 Stages of Hell would be perfect for that, because then you can have Brock win clean, Lashley win clean, and then Lashley win clean again. You know what I mean? Or you could have Lashley cheat for a win, and then Brock win clean, and then Lashley win clean to end it. And then that way, technically, politically, you could make the argument, okay, Brock, you didn't actually lose clean because you guys drew and then he cheated or something. You know what I mean? If Brock cares about protecting himself like that, which I don't really think he does, but it is what it is. I don't know. I'm not there. So yeah, I think Lashley will probably win the armbar on SmackDown. LA Knight versus Stone Cold should have happened. Shame on WWE. Shame on Stone Cold for not making it happen. That promo battle of what? Yeah. That would have been incredible. That was an awful yeah. That was nowhere near deep enough to be his yeah. But you know what I mean. The what? Yeah. That was a little bit better. You know, that promo segment would have been like the Jay Lethal and Ric Flair woo segment from TNA, except even better, I think. Just what? Yeah. What? Yeah. Just on repeat. The crowd would have been into it. The crowd would have been fucking, you know what I mean? That would have been insane. They could still do it maybe as just like a face-off at Mania. They could maybe just have LA Knight come out on either night of Mania and just be like, you know what, LA Knight should be on WrestleMania. This is a disgrace. LA Knight, dummy, yeah. And then boom, glass shatter, and it's just, and then Stone Cold comes out and he's just like, what? And then you start the promo battle. I just need to see that promo battle for once in my goddamn life, bro. That's wrestling heritage right there. But anyways, yeah. So probably Lashley for the armbar. If not LA Knight. Those are the only two that I could see winning it personally. But again, I don't really know who's in it. I just know that those two are in it because they're not in anything else, and they should be. So, yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of guys in that Memorial Battle Royal that should be, like, Cedric and Shelton Benjamin should be a tag team again as part of the Hurt Business, but they're not, which is shit. And they should be on the card. Maybe not for the titles because they're unified right now. But, I mean, the titles, they need to split those titles, man. Split the tags, split the world titles. Get new designs for all of them, please, for the love of fucking Christ. And, yeah, anyways, that's the predictions video. It went really long. I'll try and leave timestamps if I remember, if you just care about certain predictions. Yeah. Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah, that's the predictions. Let me know what your predictions are down in the comments below. I will try and be in my Discord server in the voice chat for a watch along of Mania's Night 1 and 2. No promises, but I will try. So there you go. Yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share all your friends, comment down below with your predictions, all that good shit, and I'll see you guys next time. Yeah. What? Yeah. What? That needs to happen, man.